Our colleague Alexandra Lewis has also been in court and has covered this case extensively and many, many times has spoken to Elijah's mother, Sheneen, including today. She joins us as well outside of the courthouse. You just spoke to Sheneen just a few minutes ago, Alex.
I did, and Jenny, I've spent the last 2 days, essentially the 2 days of the jury deliberating on this verdict, talking to Sheneen. And it's really interesting because she felt like this was a slam dunk. She told me the prosecution did an incredible job trying their case. She thought the fact that the defense elected not to call any witnesses and, just had a drop mic moment where they said they didn't need to try their case, she thought that that was going to reflect poorly on their case. And she expected both Rodima and Jason Rosenblatt to be convicted of all of the charges against them. So as soon as those charges were read, she was very tearful, and you might have thought that those were tears of joy. There certainly were not. As I spoke to her just moments ago, she said this is not justice.
No, it's not. It's not justice. This is not justice. This is a misuse of taxpayer money.
Even with Rodima getting 2 guilty charges, not enough?
No, it's not enough, because Rodima wasn't alone in what he did to my son. He had accomplices. He had buddies with badges that are all bullies. So it's not a victory for me. This is not a victory for me at all.
There was a very sobering moment in closing arguments where the prosecution put up a slide and there were 14 images, blank faces there. It was 10 officers, 2 paramedics, 2 EMTs to show the amount of people that were on the scene when Elijah was on the ground going into cardiac arrest on that night in August of 2019. And Sheneen has been very vocal about feeling like every single person who was on the scene should be facing charges and should have to face up to their role in what happened that night. And when you look at the charges, Sheneen just saying that she didn't feel like it was enough. When you look at reckless manslaughter, that has a maximum sentence of 16 years in the state of Colorado. Second-degree assault maximum, I have that backwards. Second-degree assault maximum of 16 years. Reckless manslaughter maximum of 6 years. Sheneen doesn't feel like that's enough, and especially when you look at the fact that Randy Rodima is eligible for probation. In closing and talking with Sheneen today, it's like, how do you get the strength? How do you keep going on? This is, as we've been texting over the last few weeks, everything she says to me is always, this is just trial number 1. This is number 1 of 3. There are many weeks to go, many more emotional moments for her, but she says she has to be here every single day because she has to be here for Elijah, even in his death. This is what she calls being a mom.
Alex Lewis at the courthouse. Of course, much more is coming up on this tonight on Next and at 9news.com, as well as tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock. And I can't help but thinking that these cases may never have gone to trial without the death of George Floyd. It seemed to push this so much further along, and that maybe otherwise it would have been left aside.
Yep, I think that's so true with so many cases with police interactions with people. And also Sheneen. Sheneen spoke very vocally, hey, pay attention to my son's case. A lot of this was her beginning to raise awareness about her own son as well, with the movement of 2020 that brought attention to this case.
Trial number 1 in the death of Elijah McClain is over, with one officer, Randy Rodima, found guilty on 2 charges.